Hello, my name is Michael Sabota, and I'm doing this testimonial for David Weigel. And I'm really good at this. I know I am. I want to thank David Weigel for doing this because this is hard stuff. It took a lot to get me to do it, to do this because it's not easy. So my story starts when I'm a child, of course, when I'm 5, right? But I'm not going to start there. I'm going to start at 18. At around 18, in high school, I was a privileged kid, and I went to Gonzaga High School. I went to high school with Martin O'Malley. He was my classmate, and I had a lot of privileged classmates. I was not Martin's friend. I didn't have the happiest childhood. I liked to smoke pot, and I did in high school. My friends would, even go to the local bar and they would serve us because we were Gonzaga students. We were assumed good kids. Many of the friends were amazing. They went right to Georgetown University. They became law professors and stuff. That wasn't me. I was not from a privileged background. My father was worked for the Inspector General of the FDIC, and my grandmother was the switchboard operator at the U.S. Senate her entire career. She commanded 18 women switching the phones for the old men who chased the women up and down the hallways because it was always a sexy party. And I was right down the street from my school. So these were my friends. They were privileged. My friends were the Stoners, and we liked the Grateful Dead. We liked to go to concerts, rock concerts, and follow the Grateful Dead. And we ended up there at Hampton Bay Coliseum almost every time they played. So we had a great time. And that led to choices at 18 years old, because what are you going to do when you're hanging around with privileged kids and they've got money to keep this up and you don't? So I ended up in drug rehab. And I was tricked into it. I ended up at God darn Straight Incorporated, the notorious Florida drug rehab called Straight Incorporated. This is a horrific story of human torture that started when I was just a child. Anyway, Princess Diana came there to look at the children victims, like me, right? I had just graduated when Princess Diana and Nancy Reagan came to look at the kids. We saw unbelievable abuse at this horrible institution in Florida, and nothing has changed. Of course, nothing's changed at all. Kids were sat on until blood came out of their eyes. And then everyone clapped at what a good job Millard Newton was doing exploiting the children to make money. Anyway, I started my business there at Straight Incorporated while I was abused and tortured in Florida. And I picked up my first client while I was on 4th phase. And I grew my company to where it had 200 employees, and I split it into 2 separate businesses because I noticed that the people around me essentially wanted to take everything I had just worked for and make it their own and throw me to the curb. Anyway, my company was born, and I had 100%, I was 100% shareholder of my fortune, in 2007, and I earned every penny of it. I worked hard, and my staff worked hard too. But the lawyers started, God darn, immediately. I already had a lawyer, Ron Cantor, and he was my Michael Cohen. He was already there. He decided from day one in my brand new business that he would take it all away and essentially cut off my balls and shove them down my throat. Well, my children all watched, right? Because I have 5 kids. right? Ron? That is essentially exactly what you did, right? You and Justin Evans, my top executive, since 2007, you did every single little move. Every day, you took this one step further. And when a lawyer is involved in a crime, folks, everyone joins because there's nothing stopping them, is there? So the crime gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and all of a sudden you got the goddamn Lolita Express, don't you? You got exactly what Alex Murdaugh did to Miss Satterfield. That's like me and my kids. And it's exactly what Scott Rothstein did to Melissa Britt Lewis, isn't it? You know. Anyway, I'm at 6 minutes almost, so I'm going to stop here. But I've got a lot to say, don't I?